For heaven's sake, Father, can you really look me in the eye and tell me that, when you know you may be condemning innocent people to death?
I can. Because if I broke that vow, the consequences would be much worse than if I didn't. Maybe not immediately, but one day. The mills of God grind slowly.
Father, Lubos was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional. I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening. In the tavern. Over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you, Father.
Take care now.
I'd like to hit him with a sword for his uselessness. Still gonna be a long ways to the evening, so I'll deliver the roan. Should be able to get back before then.
What is it? Catch him! Good day to you.
I'm looking for the local groom.
Well, you found him. What can I do for you?
The Lady Stephanie of Talmberg sent me. She said you have a roan ready for her.
Well, Chamberlain Dietrich said someone would come. We have him here, but if he's ready, I can't say. That miserable horse will let you saddle him and walk him around the courtyard, but as soon as someone sits on him, he goes completely wild.
That horse is supposed to be presented at a noble woman's wedding. It probably won't be appropriate if he makes a spectacle of his rider. Is there anything I can do?
Try asking Vasha. For some reason, that devil horse listens to him. Then take the horse with you. Dietrich's arranged everything. Good luck to you.
I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
I heard you have a way with the horse that unsaddles everyone else.
Yes. I suppose I do.
And how do you do it? How do you calm him down?
I'm good to him.
Listen, Vashek. I've been entrusted by the Lady of Talmberg. I need you to help me understand how to calm down that roan.
Lady Stephanie?
Then you know her.
She's a good person. She even talked to me once.
I know her too. She was nice to me as well. Will you help me with the roan?
You have to sing him his favorite song.
And which one would that be?
Two horses come roaming in the merry month of May, to graze in the shade of the apple tree there. The first one is brown, and the second is grey. Which shall I ride to my maiden so fair?
That's, interesting.
I know how it looks, but he likes it.
Thank you, Vashek.
Farewell.
Okay, so not really an update. So here's the horse.
So, boy, want me to sing? You're definitely the first horse I've ever serenaded.
Two horses come roaming in the merry month of May, to graze in the shade of the apple tree there. The first one is brown and the second is grey. Which shall I ride to my maiden so fair?
Well, you still gonna throw me off?
If I get ambushed, I'll have to ride around them. Since I can't afford to have this horse be hurt. I should have read this before I went too far. Ride to Talmberg. On the Rhone. That is so darn close. And I took the wrong road. Alright. Back the way I came, into the left.
Yeah.
This one has a lot of stamina. I think it's worth the buy. It's a very different game than many others, but it's worth it. Just don't expect combat to be easy, because it's not. In fact, one of the things that you'll want to learn quickly in this game is when to fight and when not to fight. Because it is one of those cases in which sometimes it's better to retreat if you can. Combat is difficult, but that also makes it interesting. You have to watch out for your stamina. A fight in a one-on-one situation can be tricky depending upon how their armor's set up, how they're trained, what weapons they're using. It makes huge impacts. So if you come up on, say for example, 3 bandits wearing mostly clothing with whatever weapons they can gather, it's not so bad. If you however, run against well-armored opponents, 3 of them will likely kill you. So it's not the type of game in which you can run and gun it like you might be able to, for example, in Skyrim. You can't do that here. You will not last long at all. I'm playing it currently on the PS4, and I can't really tell you as much about the PC version. But lockpicking is not as easy as some of the other games, but it's not so bad, not as bad as it used to be. There are some updates to it. It used to be much worse, but now it's not so bad. You still want to train in it, even if you're not going to be a thief. That's the weird one. This game is story based, even if it is a open world. So you're going to want to do some, at least a few of the main missions before you start wandering around, since that includes training you in how to fight. And it will take a little while to get used to. As to recommendation, that's a little bit harder. It depends upon how you play a game. And that makes it a little bit difficult. Sneaking is nowhere near as easy as many of the other games. So it's one of those strange situations in which you kind of really do need to play it. But I would say it's worth it. If you like games that are steeped in lore. No, it's a single player. Oh, other player, or unless that's other players who played it. For the most part, people enjoy the game. The people I know who've played it have enjoyed it.
Aha! Rowan for Lady Stephanie. Thank you, Henry. What is it? Damn!
You also have to watch out about running into people too.
Cyborg.
There we go. Okay, so that's one part of At Your Service has been concluded. Still need to go to Rattay and Sessal. I'll show you the map for a little bit. It's a pretty large area. This one is completely, for the most part, cleared off, except for some of the edges, like around here. Skalitz is where you start the game. Probably easy to go to Rattay first. Levels are interesting in how you level up. What you do with that is every so often you'll get perks, and you can apply those perks to each of these right here. So in other words, if you want to get a perk point to, say for example, do a perfect throw, you have to level up your agility. There's not a pool of perks. So in other words, if you want to become better at something, you have to actually do that thing. And for example, I just leveled up on reading. And by leveling that up more, then I can choose perks within that reading one. But the only way to actually unlock that is to actually do more reading. And it also has stealth, but I'm pretty much saving that for the moment until I can get enough for a stealth kill. So that is also another difference. It is similar in a lot of ways to Skyrim in that regard, except for the fact that your perk points only apply to certain things, where Skyrim is more free. As long as you have a perk point and you have the skill points for it, you can put it wherever you want. This one, the perk point is only for that one specific skill and it can't be applied to anything else. So if you want to become good at archery, you're going to have to use the bow a lot. If you want to become a good swordsman, you're going to have to use the sword a lot. Using the mace won't help you become a better swordsman. And there's another reason you'll want to go a little bit into the storyline as well, because you'll want to get your first horse. This is not the first horse. The first horse you get is Pebbles, but you're going to want to upgrade him too. And you get him a little ways into the story. Bear in mind, this is not like Skyrim in that you have a set character that you're playing. Since this is more of a narrative story than a pure open world story. So certain decisions are outside your ability to control them. But you do have a lot of freedom that you can choose to act as Henry in the way you'd like to. Also, you're going to want to pay attention to the lore, which there's a lot of that. I'll go to the codex to show it to you. There's a lot of good information you can find here on how to behave and how other people behave around you, which will help you play the game. And there's just a lot of good information here. You're going to want to pay attention to all this. It's a lot of reading, but it is very helpful. Tells you about the villages, the history behind them, events, how society expects you to behave, and how certain people in that society behave towards each other. And also a good introduction to all the characters. And this tutorial is very good as well compared to a lot of games. But there are some downsides that you will have to pay attention to, and that is the fact that saving in this game is not like other games as well. You can save in certain beds, not all of them. And you can also save when you exit the game. But you can't just auto-save everywhere. Whenever you save without leaving the game, you take a drink of alcohol, which gets your character drunk. That's a unique side to it. But it's not I don't think a game breaker. It's just something that's very different about the game. So it's just up ahead.
Yeah.
Also, characters will react to your actions, depending upon your behavior. So if you behave suspiciously, they will react to that. If you walk around town at nighttime without a torch, the guards will point this out to you. And if you don't correct what you're doing, they will even go after you, depending upon what laws you are breaking at the time.
Yeah.
Not carrying a torch at night is one of those laws. And looks like there's not really any big battles that you fight in yet that I've seen. This is traitor. But you can run into as many as 5 bandits and 5 versus 1. 3 versus 1 happens a lot as well, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Some of the bandits are not well armored. They're wearing whatever they can get a hold of. Some of them are, and they are well trained. And the 3 versus 1, that is a situation you don't want to be in. Because there's a good chance you'll die. Even in the 2 versus 1, it's not really favorable to you. If 2 people with shields and heavy armor run at you, you're not likely to win. Or if you do win, it's going to take a little while. It's not one of those games in which you hit them 1 or 2 times and they go down. It's, from what I've seen, it is not that easy at all. Maybe if you hit them in the head with an arrow, it might be different. But archery is not that easy either. You actually might manage 1 or 2 hits with the ones that are just wearing clothing. But pretty much for the most part, if you go up against somebody, you can expect there to at least be 2 people. And if you run into a bandit camp, there's probably going to be 5 of them there, so it's best to try to, if you can, get into 1 versus 1 or 1 versus 2 situation and try to pull them away from the others and hope they don't join in, which is also something you need to get used to. It's not always easy, since when they engage you, they also call out alarm, which gets the others interested.
Yeah.
Chances are good that I will be ambushed as well fairly soon. You can't always predict where the ambushes will be. Some of them probably yes. Some of the camps do refill with bandits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an anomaly. Small one. Must be upstairs.
Good health to you.
The Lady of Talmberg sent me. She wants me to find out why the crown's been delayed.
Through no fault of ours, I can tell you that. We had a large stone ordered for mounting on the crown, a beautiful Moldavite from South Bohemia that we had cut and polished in Prague. But, well, in short, the good merchant, Martin Wieseck, who was supposed to bring it from Prague, got lost along the way. It's like the ground swallowed him up.
Lady Stephanie won't be happy.
Look, we've got something else here we can replace the stone with, but I'm sure even you can see it's not worthy of a noble wedding, and definitely not worthy of our fine craftsmanship. Oh, if I only had someone who'd try to find the Moldavite.
That would be me.
Why don't you just ask me? Of course I'll try to find the stone. Just tell me where the fellow was seen last.
That fellow, as you call him, the esteemed merchant, Martin Wieseck, was last seen riding alongside the Sassau River, passing by the footbridge over the ford, to the west of here. Evidently, he never made it to Sassau town.
Well, I'll look for him, but he could be far over the mountains by now. Or under the ground.
Good luck to you.
Which means I am likely to run into a bandit there in this section of the quest. Where a merchant disappeared. Not making it to the town, that suggests, well, bandits. way over there. I think I've run into a bandit over there. A little bit further than I thought it was, so best use my horse instead.
Yeah.
Alright, you can see how your helmet does impact what helmet you're wearing. If you're wearing a helmet, impacts on what you can see. This is not good. Looks like somebody was dragged down here. Here one.
Hey, who's there?
Bandits.
Hey,
Let's see if I can draw one of them out.
what have we got here? Entertainment, great.
One with a shield and
Come here, Lily Liver.
gotta remember that there is a person with a bow nearby.
Lost your wind?
That yellow bar at the bottom is my stamina. The one with the bow is still to my right somewhere. You see the 5 different areas well actually 6 areas I can target. One of them is directly forward. The head, both arms, and both legs. What's likely to happen is I'll bleed him out. And break his bones for internal bleeding.
All right, you win. I surrender.
Not much I can do until I get rid of this one. You quickly see a difference between fighting with no shield and with a shield. So, not so bad, if you're careful. I forgot I picked up some trout and forgot to cook it. You do have to watch out for the stamina of your food. Well, if it's still good. Alright, there's still the one who ran. His weapon and shield are over here. And I saw him run towards the camp, so there's a good chance he's back at the camp. I saw a dead body, that could be the merchant.
What's going on there? Hey, who's there?
There is that person again.
Who's there?
Trying to sneak around, and this armor is... No. He's so badly injured, he's dead. He bled out, just as I said he would. There is the item I was looking for. They stole it from the merchant. Pity that happened to the merchant. So I'm close at the end of what I can stream at the moment. So it looks like I'm gonna be turning this end in. That'll be it for the moment. Probably not gonna be able to do the crown so quickly, so I might be headed on to rattay.
About that Moldavite we discussed.
Yes. Do you have some news?
Yes. The good news is I found Vizek.
That sounds like cause for rejoicing, but how come he isn't with you?
That's the bad news. He didn't survive.
Merciful God. He was a good and highly respected man. I will pray for his soul. Anyway, let me see the stone, if you would be so kind.
Of course. Here it is.
Excellent. It looks undamaged. I'll get straight to work. You can come for the finished crown tomorrow evening. Good luck to you.
So I'm gonna head to rattay now, and when I get to rattay, that'll be it for the moment.